Geometry Dash is one of those games that most of us are probably somewhat familiar with, some of us more than others. This game has a surprisingly rich history, and it's all fascinating, but today I'm only going to focus on one thing, that being one of the most influential levels ever made, the level that started a trend still alive to this day, the level that changed Geometry Dash. Our story begins with update 1.9. People had been waiting for this update for the past 3 months, and now that it's finally out, the community is going crazy. There's 2 new official levels, you can now use custom songs in your own levels, and most importantly for this video, a new game mode, the Wave. The Wave's mechanics were simple. Hold to instantly go up, release to instantly go down. This is different from the ship, which is much smoother. Despite its simple mechanics, the Wave is the one game mode people have pushed to the absolute limits in terms of skill. But that's a story for another day. Anyways, the other important factor of this story is a user named Zobros. Zobros was fairly well known during this time, mostly for his high skill level and making difficult custom levels. When 1.9 came out, Zobros created, verified, and released a level called 9 Circles, named after the song it used. The level featured a pre-drop using the familiar game modes with creative use of fake blocks and slopes, a drop using the new Wave game mode accompanied by flashy visuals and fast-paced gameplay, and a slower ending cube section to finish it all off. This level was an instant hit, and to this day it is one of the most popular user-made levels ever created. The level itself used very unique effects and gameplay that was admittedly ahead of its time, but the real fun starts with the many spin-offs. It started with Fairy Dust, a level inspired by 9 Circles, though it was essentially the same level with different colors and a different song, and this is where the 9 Circles trend truly began. Up next were levels like the Realistic, Figures, Jawbreaker, Astronaut 13, Head Rush, and it just kept going from there. The classic 9 Circles effects were unique but inherently simple to recreate, and everyone wanted to try their hand at making their own 9 Circles styled level. Over time, the levels associated and inspired by the original even evolved into their own subgenres. Auditory Breaker, Generic Wave, Cosmic Cyclone, and Sonic Wave Infinity, Rebirth, Unlimited, and Universe were all inspired by a level called Sonic Wave, which itself was inspired by 9 Circles. Sakupin Circles, same thing. Inspired by 9 Circles, but has given rise to its own Sakupin Circles levels, such as Aquamarine and that one. If you haven't figured it out by now, 9 Circles was a very influential level. One could even argue that it is the single most influential level in Geometry Dash history, as the term 9 Circles levels is hard to avoid when interacting with the community at any level. But 9 Circles, while it was the first community-wide level trend, certainly wasn't the last. Remember that level from earlier with the crazy looking wave gameplay? That level is called Slaughterhouse. Wow, so edgy. A level created in Update 2.1 featuring a slow beginning, a wave heavy drop that comes out of nowhere, and a slower cube section at the end. This level took the Geometry Dash community by storm, and it was so hard for its time that the first person to beat it was skyrocketed into the Hall of Fame, only for it to come out later that he cheated on almost every single level he ever beat, which to this day is considered to be the biggest hacking scandal this game has ever seen. But that's a story for another day. Anyways, Slaughterhouse got so popular so fast and had such a distinctive gameplay style that a lot of Slaughterhouse-inspired levels began to pop up. Some of them were serious, some were satirical, and they all collectively became known as Slaughterhouse Levels. Does all of this sound familiar to you? It should, because this was literally the 9 Circles trend all over again. Yeah, history repeats itself. The Slaughterhouse trend, however, came years after the 9 Circles trend and didn't actually survive for as long as the 9 Circles trend did. Speaking of which, what do 9 Circles levels look like now? Well, in the modern eras of updates 2.1 and 2.2, 9 Circles levels still exist and are still referred to as such, but are stylistically much more distinct from the original trend to the point where the only thing really tying them together is the use of the Wave game mode. 9 Circles levels originally used dubstep songs and followed very similar gameplay and decoration styles, but nowadays there's a Circles level for literally any topic you can imagine, serious or satirical. And when I say anything, I mean anything. Okay, that's enough of that. The point I'm trying to make here is that 9 Circles has become essentially synonymous with Geometry Dash and custom levels as a whole. Even Zobros himself is quoted as saying that 9 Circles is his greatest accomplishment in this game.
I mean, it has to be 9 Circles, right? While I did beat some hard levels for my time, I don't think anyone can argue that it's not 9 Circles.
But the question still stands. Why did 9 Circles levels become such a massive trend? The simple answer is that 9 Circles was cool, unique, and easy to recreate. There were countless tutorials all over YouTube, and it just so happened that the creator of the 9 Circles song, Nightkilla, aka Ruckus, whom I should probably be giving more credit to, made a lot of other songs very similar in style to 9 Circles, which was probably what started the trend in the first place, as a lot of the early 9 Circles levels used songs from Ruckus. Even I tried making my own 9 Circles level 7.5 years ago, though I didn't ever finish it, and here's a demo of the 9 Circles effect I made for this video in like 5 minutes, though I didn't quite do it right. The point is, 9 Circles was insanely popular. 9 Circles levels typically received millions of downloads as well, and people just saw an easy opportunity to hop on a trend and make a level that was basically guaranteed to be popular. Nowadays, 9 Circles levels aren't really as big as they were, as the trend became saturated and died down, and levels using 9 Circles effects stopped being rated, essentially killing all motivation for new levels to be made. But the term 9 Circles level still exists, and like I said before, 9 Circles levels are still being created to this day, although they are usually much more distinct both in gameplay and decoration, or they're just completely satirical in nature. The classic flashing effects still exist in most modern Circles levels, but the use of these blocks present in the original are all but extinct. 9 Circles itself is now rated a hard demon, an intermediate difficulty level, and it's a level most go for as their first hard demon completion. The level stands today as the start of one of the greatest cultural movements in all of Geometry Dash, as well as being a bridge for those who are ready to pursue more difficult levels. 9 Circles, it seems, will remain relevant until the game itself dies out. So yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of 9 Circles and its impact on the Geometry Dash community. I was going to add an extra section talking about my own personal thoughts on the whole thing, but it had to be cut for time. Long story short, I'm personally indifferent to 9 Circles and 9 Circles levels as a whole, and I've never actually been too fond of the wave game mode, which is actually a pretty unpopular opinion among most players. I haven't beaten any hard demons yet, despite beating 3 insane demons, and I don't think 9 Circles will be my first hard demon whenever that happens. Anyways, that's all. Thanks for watching. The end.